It's about Bourbon 101, right?
What are some memorable concerts or just some memorable whiskey moments that you guys have shared together?
Dude, remember when we saw the National at the Fox Theater?
Oh yeah, that was great.
Dude, we saw the National.
You know that band?
I do. I'm familiar. Yeah.
Oh man,
they're so good.
At the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia,
which is like a classic theater that has been around for God knows how long, and you know, countless acts have performed there, and yeah, we saw the National there. They had a song there. I remember at the time the album had a song called like Bloodlust or something, which I thought was quite ironic.
No, it's called Blood Buzz.
Blood Buzz,
which is one of my favorite tracks, and it's weird.
And we're like, you know, playing Vampires, and he's like, "I'm on a blood," but we're like drinking.
Well, he said I'm on a. Well, also too, you got to remember this is 2009 or 10, and you know, not for nothing. I mean, it was a really bad economic time in the world. It was 2 years post 08, right? And there was a lot of people just like really struggling. And then here, Paul and I, we were talking about this, like how grateful we were, but to be on this sort of like rocket ship that is a successful television show, or that was specifically the Vampire Diaries. That was a really memorable moment. Yeah, but I did drink. I got really smashed.
Yeah, we brought because you know not to I'm not going to name the brand, but there's a specific whiskey that is always at like certain concerts, and it's only that whiskey, and I won't drink it, and I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm like, you know, I walk in, I'm like, I'm not drinking that shit, and so I brought my own flask with my own, you know, whiskey of my choice.
Yeah. There you guys go. Now, Ian, you were on a show that I did watch and love called Lost, and I wanted to ask you, this is a popular question, a desert island whiskey. I know you guys are probably going to say Brothers Bond, but do you guys have a desert island whiskey?
We built this. Honestly, can I say something? I'm going to sound like such a tool. I mean, obviously, we are building out insane line extensions for this, and you do a lot of research. I don't drink bourbon other than our own. And now as in California, we're going to start going to restaurants. You know, we were at this place called Wally's, which I'm sure, of course, you know Wally's in LA, the one in Beverly Hills and the one in Santa Monica. We were in 2 days ago with our R&DC distributor partners and you know, our head of sales and Paul and I, and it was and the guys are running, you know, Wally's, which is like, you know, an institution when it comes to wine and spirits. And we drank Manhattans sitting on a Santa Monica street having lunch. And it was the first, I got chills, man. My eyes were like,
it's the first time we had
our bourbon that was on a shelf in a bar, especially Wally's. And Paul and I are toasting with our partners.
It's great.
And our executive this first time.
Yeah, it was great.
It was unbelievable. And it was the best freaking Manhattan I'd ever had.
Yeah. So it's hard to talk about. I'm sure there's a lot of phenomenal whiskeys
100%.
out there, but it's hard to talk about anything other than Brothers Bond after all the time and effort and the amount of passion we have for it.
That's why you guys are here. So I did want to ask, you know, I've seen pictures of you guys with the graduated cylinders, and you guys said that this was months, really years in the making. Did you find whiskey making to be kind of maddening and frustrating, or very exciting, right? You know, was there any part of the process? Yeah.
It's like creating art. I mean, it is, you know, you're creating something from the ground up that is then going to be distributed in, you know, thousands and thousands of bottles, and eventually, and I, you know, it's really an art form. I mean, blending is an art form.
Millions.
Yeah, but you know, it's an art form, and it's amazing.
Well, the artistry of whiskey is not just, it's not in the distilling. I mean, well, let me say this: you have to be an amazing distiller. There's no doubt, but the true art in whiskey is in the blending. And like Paul said, I mean, there were times for sure when we would look at each other and we think we're getting closer and closer, and it doesn't work out, and it's been 2 weeks trying to find this one thing. And we're like, man, we are chasing a ghost, but we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. And for us, it was never really frustrating. It's like Paul said, we're just creating, right? So there's no, it's just been a magical experience. It's literally magical. The positioning of this bottle, all the little hearts from people sending emojis saying, you know, they love that comment or something. It looks like there's smoke coming out. See that? It's like, oh, it's
We're
great.
getting a lot of messages from people asking when it's coming to Europe and various countries outside of America. So I just want to, you know, answer that for you guys asking. 100% we'll be expanding.
We're
will
busting
be,
our
we'll
asses.
We'll be all over. We'll be in Canada. We'll be in Europe. We'll be in South America. You know, we're going to be heading all over. We're starting here in the United States. But you know, rest assured, it's coming your way, guys.
We'll be all over the world.
Yeah,
there's no two ways about it.
So I have a lot of questions are coming in. I have my colleague who's actually filtering them and sending me to them over GChat. So we spoke about this over Zoom, but what was it like kind of going into business with a close friend, right? So you guys were colleagues and then became friends and now you're business partners. What has that evolution been like?
It was always just, we've just been in it for 11 years. There was never a...
Yeah, it kind of, well, I mean, it's you know, first of all, I mean, I agree with Ian. It's sort of organic, right? We never were like, okay, let's go into business. It was just kind of like, hey, let's, you know, we spend so much time together, you know, and you just start to talk about ideas and you start to talk about, you know, what your dreams are and what you want. You know, you spend so much time with someone.
We also been talking about this for 10 years.
That's what I mean. So we've been wanting to do this forever, and so it was kind of just natural, you know. Gosh, yeah, it's pretty wild.
It's so wild. You know, we spent 8 years on TV together, and then the last 4 years really, you know, pushing and developing, and then the last really few years, the last 2 especially years of just really kind of, pardon my French, you know, just balls to the wall, never stopping. It's every single day, all day. You know, Paul is shooting something in Romania and it's just like, wow, man, to be back on a set, because we've been running a company, you know, it's like you know, we have the most amazing team, and our CEO, Vincent Hanna, and I, we've been in business for 7 years. He's known Paul forever. We are, you know, Paul and I there was never a transition. We just knew these are our dreams. This is what's going to happen. And, you know, and fortunately Vincent came in and built a team around us of just the most amazing people in this business. And here we are, you know.
Do you guys remember the first whiskey you shared together?
It was on set, probably. I mean, you know, well, maybe not. I mean,
no way.
Maybe not.
We drank bourbon.
Because you guys were drinking iced tea on set.
We drank bourbon at the Sutton place.
Right. When we were shooting the pilot, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
No.
Was it Canadian whiskey? What were we drinking?
No, I mean, I was drinking bourbon that whole time.
It's crazy how when you're on a TV show, and your character drinks bourbon, right, nonstop, you get out, and you're not you know, as an actor, you want to do as much as you can to kind of, you know, invest in the character so that when you're appearing on screen, it's authentic. And so, you know, subconsciously, I was like, all right, well, I'm a bourbon drinker now, you know. So, you know, as a result of my character drinking bourbon, I started drinking bourbon. It's why I became, and, you know, obviously we were also shooting in Georgia. It's the South, and you know, bourbon, and, you know, originates, you know, obviously from the South. And so, you know, I think that also lended itself to perfect, you know, kind of storm of, you know, becoming bourbon crazy.
Yeah, we got this, you know, this familial, you know, bourbon. Listen, the South is so, that culture, bourbon is so intertwined and woven into the cultural fabric of the South. I mean, Paul and I were talking, he's like, you know, I would always talk with Paul about just remembering, like, you know, Sundays after church, all the adults, you know, you pick mint, and the kids, we had sugar cane, right? You just cut it down with a cane, and you just milk that sugar cane. You get all this unbelievable fresh sugar cane juice. And, you know, with the kids, you're muddling it with the mint. And so for me, that smell and that taste, and also too, we'd be sipping the sugar, the cane sugar water with the mint. First of all, as kids, you're high as a kite from all the sugar. And then without the adults knowing, we would just like steal one mint julep for a second and just like run and have a couple of sips and then put it back. But it was always part of the culture. And so that smell and that taste, there's something I've, you know, always known. As an adult, I'm not like condoning underage drinking. I'm talking about just as kids, you know, it's like, you know, you watch Stand By Me, you know, they steal their dad's Winston's, you know, it's just what kids did. But it was really special. We
have a question here. I'm going to try and catch these as, you know,
let's do it.
Yeah, what do you guys do together when you're not working on the company? You guys like to watch a game, or I know you guys go to concerts. You guys are big music lovers, but what does the friendship look like when it's not about the whiskey?
Well, we fortunately our significant others get along and they're buddies, and so we do a lot of like kind of group hangs. Well,
we're just never not. It sounds so weird to say. We're just never not together.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, whether it's on a phone or a Zoom, or we're texting, or we're FaceTiming trying to figure something out, or
just hanging at the house.
Or it's hanging at the house, or hey, I'm 5 minutes late for dinner. Will you order me? Blah 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 blah. I'm trying to think. Like, there's just not any separation.
Just a lot of dinners and beach hangs and barbecues, and you know, frankly, a lot of traveling too. You know, and going to Europe and God knows where.
Asia, Australia.
You know,
we've never.
South America, and
we're just never
everywhere.
Not together.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, isn't it?
We're just never not together.
You sick of me yet?
For 11 years.
Well, you guys are authentic. I think we can all appreciate that about you. Somebody asked here, and also very nice, what concert are you most excited to go to? Concerts are back. Are you guys?
I'll tell you what I'm excited to go to. I'm excited to go to a festival. You know,
yes.
Like, God, I want to go. I had such a blast at, like, you know, ACL, for example, you know,
Austin City Limits,
or South by Southwest, you know, or, you know,
Bonnaroo, or
there's just like, I just miss that. And my dream is to have like a Brothers Bond truck that, you know, that has, and we're talking about it, that, you know, and creating like our own thing that we can then sort of,
a true environment.
Yeah, you know, like
a bonding environment.
Yeah. So like, I would love, like, I love Austin City Limits. Like, I love that one. That's a killer festival. And
well, our company is based. We're a Texas-based company now. So we are based in Texas, and so to be able to spend time, you know, all throughout that state, and Austin and Dallas and San Antonio and all these places, but we are really looking forward to just the activation that we get to be a part of these music festivals as our bourbon company and as just avid freakish music lovers. It's going to be wild, man.
So I asked you guys who you would like to share a Brothers Bond with. Who have you shared a Brothers Bond with? Ian, I know you said you shared some with your mom. Have you guys shared any with some co-stars?
Everyone under the sun.
Oh my God.
Here, drink this. Tell me what you think.
I mean, my mom and my dad love it. And they are really not bourbon people. And they just love it. And they're not just saying that. I mean, I've sent it to at first it was a hard bottle. I mean, it's still a hard bottle to find, but at first it was like, you know, a real commodity. A bottle is like, oh my God, it's super tough to get.
We only had so many, and we needed to use them. And
I got so many requests. People wanted a bottle, and you got to selectively choose. Unfortunately, like, you don't know, you know. So,
dude, he's gonna kill me for saying this. She doesn't really drink, but yesterday on this amazing shoot, we had to go up this really windy road, and his mom was like so freaked out because it's like a 500, 600 foot drop off of the side of this road. And I said, "Here, Mama," I said, "Here, do you want some bourbon?" She goes, "Yes." And so her and I are sitting there drinking bourbon out of a bottle, and Paul walks around the corner and goes, "Ian, what are you doing? What are you doing to my mom?"
She literally went like this because she hates heights. My mom's in town visiting. It was really funny. She like completely freaked out.
Paul's like, "Dude, what are you doing to my mom?" Giving her it was awesome. And she drank it, and she goes, "Oh, guys, I just love it," you know.
Yeah.
And
she's like, "Wow, this is really good." She doesn't even really drink that much, so it's funny.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Again, so again, my colleague's feeding me questions as she's filtering from the feed. Someone asked, what's next for you two? Are you guys able to work a lot in addition to promoting this? Is Brothers Bond consuming all of your time?